They're a bigger problem than the problems they solve. It's beautiful.
No, but who really?
That's cinema, baby.
Running a temporal pincer movement. What? Pincer movement. But not in space. In time. Rumsniff var åkmästningen av. Ja, Seapsnon. Rumsniff. Running a temporal.
Yes, we're back. We didn't leave. It's still season 17. This is the good, the pod, the ugly. We've done our 4x4s, but now we're in for some desserts.
Ooh.
With some 1x1s, starting with Freebie and the Bean. But before we get there, this is Thomas.
This is Ken.
This is Ryan.
What's a 1x1, you say?
Yeah, what is it? 1x1, Thomas?
I was just about to ask.
What the hell? What is it?
I know. We've only done this once before.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a little shaky. But I would believe, given the format of a 4x4, each of the four hosts picks 4 movies. A 1x1 is I get to pick a movie and that's it.
Well, the idea was a movie that wouldn't fit in the normal parameters of how we cover movies, either a 4x4, Peter Yates accepted, or like a regular season where we cover an entire filmography. These are like one-offs, and it's something that we'd like to share for whatever reason with the other hosts.
Yeah. So this is Ken's pick this week.
Woo.
He decided to, of all the movies of all time that he thought might not get covered, Freebie and the Bean, 1974.
Freebie and the Bean.
Freebie and the Bean.
There's a song.
Mm-hmm. I just sang it. It's great. No.
After having seen Color of Night, a later Richard Rush film.
The final Richard Rush film.
It's a little sad that we won't be doing a whole series on my man here, because, wow, what a weirdo.
What a fucking nut. If you've ever seen Stunt Man, the movie he made with the cachet after the success of Freebie and the Bean, you'll know that he was pretty nuts.
I think I'm going to watch that one tonight, actually.
In 1974, if you were listening to the pod, you could have also heard and watched Thunderbolt and Lightfoot.
Woo!
Which is
I like, and Thomas does not.
I do not, but I think I like it more after watching this film. The Sugarland Express.
Woo!
Spielberg's first feature length. And The Longest Yard.
Yeah.
Woo!
One
Lest
of
we forget,
my favorites.
also Bring Me the Head of Fredo Garcia.
Which we did with our little VHS series many years ago.
In season 7.
Mm-hmm. What a great run that was. Watching films on VHS. And
what a great premise.
Yes.
I guess we'd have to have a VHS release to qualify.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, so if you have been listening to the pod, dear listener, you probably picked up that separate episodes. We usually record them back to back. And that's why Thomas will often say on the second half of one of what the two films have in common. And just by circumstance of the two movies Thomas and I picked, I picked Freebie and the Bean, 5 syllables, and he picked Freddy Got Fingered, also 5 syllables. 2 movies that were somewhat justified and unjustifiably vilified upon their release that have nevertheless gone on to have a cult following and have inspired a number of subsequent either films or comedians in the same vein. It's a really happenstance pairing, but I think it works great. I think,
Yes. Quite a wild pairing you all put together.
All right. Well, I'm done talking about Freebie and the Bean. Can we move on?
Wow.
No
spoilers.
This has a good cinematographer.
Laszlo!
Dude who shot Ghostbusters and Shampoo, which we've covered.
Mm-hmm.
Woo! Easy Rider.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Laszlo's, we've covered him a couple times. I just like saying Laszlo.
It's a good name.
So let's go around the horn. First time, Thomas?
Yes.
First time, Ryan?
Yes, which in hindsight is surprising, but yeah.
I first saw this film a month and a half ago, and it was on this pirate streaming service that comes and goes under different names, but has the same hard to find, cheap transfer movies on it. And I think now it's called Cinema Vault. And I was just flipping around once, and I put it on. And I was just going to watch like the first 10 minutes, which I often do for movies. And then after about 10 minutes, I couldn't quite believe what I was seeing was an actual movie. So I finished watching it. Andy eventually came in after like the first car chase. And then, we watched it. And then I watched it again on Father's Day. And then I watched it again the other day for this podcast. So I've seen it 3 times in the last 6 weeks. And
so you watch the first 10 minutes of movies regularly. Is that like Ryan reading books by the cover? Is it just a faster way of doing it?
You don't have the commitment, and having seen a gazillion movies, you kind of know even if it's a bad movie, if it's made with a certain distinction to it, like this movie that we're talking about today, then it holds me a little longer. And then sometimes I watch the whole thing, sometimes I don't.
Yeah,
I just want to clarify that I flip the book over and read the back cover. I don't simply look at the picture before making up my mind.
Yeah, no. Yeah, props. Like
Thank you.
Respect.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a reader.
I was even going to give you that you open up the jacket and read the inside, but yeah.
Oh, that takes a real. Now we're talking just like top level talent.
Mm-hmm.
That's only a move reserved for Grisham and Lynn Collins, some of the other luminaries.
Yeah. Who Collins? You mean Jackie Collins?
Jackie Collins.
Who did you say?
Lynn Collins? Doesn't she do like dial A for alchemy and E for embezzlement and those things? Am I wrong?
Oh, I thought that was Sue Grafton. Are you talking about?
Oh, yeah. Okay. That's probably who it is.
Oh, my God. Okay, we're way off.
I didn't say I read the names. I just said I read the covers.
The name is generally on the cover?
Well, that's skimmable.
Okay, fair enough.
I do think this is what do we want to call that? A time capsule of the 70s.
Mm-hmm. And I happened to watch it right after I watched Bullitt for our Peter Yates 4x4. And this movie, both in plot and time frame that it takes place, is a perverted funhouse mirror of that and Dirty Harry, 2 other San Francisco cop movies.
Yeah, I thought maybe that was how you came to it, because you seem to like San Francisco and you seem to like it when they put it in the picture.
Well, I thought maybe you came to this because you were like, man, I love Richard Jewell. What else did this guy write? Then you watch Color of Night and you're like, wow, Billy Ray. And then we watch Volcano and you're like, oh, okay, Color of Night's amazing. This Billy Ray character is great. Who did the music for Color of Night? Oh, wait, that guy also did another movie with Richard Rush? I've got to watch it. Freebie and the Bean.
That's definitely not.
Did you know what the title meant? I didn't know. I had no idea what this film was.
Based on the title, I thought it was like a road movie about like an Easy Rider road movie. That's what the title brought to mind. That it's like an early 70s guys delivering some dope to the part of the country, and they have some adventures. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah. I thought it was like a moonchild, like a hippie, female hippie who discovers her clitoris.
I knew it was a cop movie, and I'd heard about it in the same context as like Mother Jugs and Speed and those kinds of movies, but I'd never thought to look any further into it.
Mm-hmm. And now you are its biggest fan. You have the Viva Montesa t-shirt en route to your house right now, which is a completely iconic t-shirt, by the way, that Caan wears in that sequence.
Yeah, that's a great shirt.
I actually did look it up when we were watching it this 3rd time. They don't make it that color anymore, unfortunately.
That's a sad story.
You also have the steelbook of the television series.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean the television series?
In 1979, they made a Freebie and the Bean TV series that aired 8 episodes, but they made 9. Hector Elizondo played Bean. Tom Mason, who I've never heard of before, played Freebie. And it went up against The Love Boat Saturday nights, 9:00, and was thoroughly trounced.
Yeah, how can no one could compete with The Love Boat?
Not in 1979. Come on.
Okay, so it didn't really play at the same time as the Breaking Away television series.
But you can almost picture the crew of Freebie and the Bean moving on to Breaking Away, the TV show, right afterwards. What other movie can we do?
I do appreciate that for the TV show they at least found. I'm at least glad for the TV show they were able to dig through the casting files and find a Latin actor to portray the Bean.
Not only an actor
wait, they had more than Eric Estrada in the 70s, and
yeah,
they had two.
But
Hector Elizondo.
Elizondo is would have been fine in the movie as well. He is one of the great character actors of his time, and extremely funny in a very similar way that Alan Arkin is in the early 70s. One of the most difficult men to work with in Hollywood during that era. Mike Nichols told Richard Rush that hiring Alan Arkin was he was a director killer because he's so fucking difficult to work with. I've never heard that about Hector Elizondo, who is just as funny.
That's crazy because it's not like Arkin was a big star, right?
Well, at that time, he was fairly big. I mean, we're not talking Clint Eastwood, Steve McQueen levels, but
he's no Elliot Gould, you know.
I'm sorry. I'm going to apologize to the 70s. I forgot about Cheech and Chong.
Yes.
I guess Cheech.
Yes. I don't think they were sober enough yet to remember any lines, though. So,
does anyone want to talk about the background of the movie? I guess I could talk about the background of the movie. This started as a straight up police thriller with the script.
Yeah.
And then
it's like Informant, right?
Yeah, or it's not dissimilar to a lot of ways as Bullitt, at least structurally, intentionally, I think, to the structure of Bullitt, which takes place over a weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Oh yeah, you need to keep somebody alive.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or to hide somebody that's dead.
There's a car chase.
There's more than one car chase, yeah. And then, Rush got a hold of it after he made quite a few movies before this, and then after this, only two more over 15, 16 years?
Basically one a decade, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think he was originally supposed to direct Air America, which he co-wrote for that eventually starred Mel Gibson and Robert Downey Jr.
Is that any good? Has anybody seen that?
No, it's not very good. It's interesting.
It's
one of those Hollywood movies that has interesting ideas that you feel were smuggled in, but then gets kind of smothered by the Hollywoodness of it.
Right.
Yeah, he made a lot of, I don't want to say grindhouse, but a lot of, unsurprisingly, car and motorcycle related films and some psychedelic movies of the 60s. He was part of that crowd with Jack Nicholson's and the Roger Cormans. And then this movie somehow, I don't know why they hired him for it. Maybe because he had directed some car movies and some motorcycle movies. Yeah, but he got together rewrote it with somebody, got Caan and Arkin together. They Thomas improvised their characters. And then they completely rewrote it into a complete comedy, which comedy is subjective. So it depends on your definition.
It's definitely a 70s comedy.
Yes. And then the studio didn't really know what to do with it. It kind of held off on releasing it for a little bit, but then it was released in Christmas time and was a reasonable enough hit to inspire a TV show, 6 years later. And they also had at one point gotten close to greenlighting a sequel, which Alan Arkin, director killer, would have directed. But we didn't get that sequel, thankfully, because Freebie and the Bean exists in its own little pocket universe outside of movies. If you haven't seen Freebie and the Bean, forewarning, if you're going to stop this podcast and go watch it, it is offensive on almost every conceivable level.
Huh.
But it's of a piece. It's all of a piece. And I think in some ways it works to its benefit, even though some of it hasn't aged very well. Because it is the only movie made by a studio about cops, where the cops are the worst people and the most incompetent people in the movie.
There is I haven't seen it, but it's been recommended to me. There is a Hollywood movie from the 20 teens called I Declare War. And it's trying to be something like this. Whether or not it succeeds,
I don't think you can. I think this movie definitely has to be of its time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you could update or remake this movie.
Well, it is often considered the first buddy action comedy film, particularly influencing Lethal Weapon.
Lethal Weapon,
Midnight Run.
But not really.
I mean, no.
Yeah, completely. Are you crazy?
Shane Black and Quentin Tarantino would not exist without this movie.
Yeah. This started the whole thing. And
this could have been remade in the 80s, the 90s. Probably you could do it now that we've had some space between Black Lives Matter and the current day.
I think this movie updates some of it, but if you keep the core of the movie where the police are the authors of every piece of mayhem that happens in the story, because we're going to get to some spoilers at the end. In the end, it turns out that they were all set up by their boss because he wanted to get with a girl. And everything that happens in the movie is because of that. And I think what sets this apart from the movies that it inspired, the buddy movies, the cop movies like Lethal Weapon, in those movies, as much as they bicker, there's always a point where their competence as a police officer goes up against a legitimate villain, where there's a bad guy. There's a Gary Busey in Lethal Weapon or whatnot. Mm-hmm. And in this movie, it does not have that. In the end, it's actually still them and the whole police department. So in a way, there's a very counterculture vibe to how it treats the police that I don't think I've ever seen in a studio movie before. And that's what really attracts me to it.
Yeah, think about if if Clint Eastwood was not in Dirty Harry, and you had the people improvise their dialogue to make it a comedy,
mm-hmm.
and you get close to what this film is.
Yeah,
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but there's no bad guy. The cops, the lead characters are literally the bad guys in this movie.
Okay, yeah, there's no Zodiac killer. It's more, yeah. It's more of Smokey and the Bandit or something.
Do you want to go over the plot just a little bit for our listener? Anybody?
I'll do so.
Go for it.
So Freebie and the Bean are two detectives played by James Caan and Alan Arkin, respectively. It's like 1972 in San Francisco. At the beginning of the film, they're digging through I guess he's a mafioso. He's definitely an organized crime boss. Mm-hmm. They're digging through an organized crime boss's trash, and they discover some evidence against him that they think will be enough to put him away after a 14-month investigation. Then there's a lot of convoluted shit that happens, but essentially they need a witness to testify against the mafioso they're trying to put away. That witness is out of town until Monday, and there's a hit that's been put out on the guy that they're trying to persecute. So they are directed by the police captain to protect that mafioso's life at all costs, as a series of assassins from different parts of the country come into town to try and kill that guy.
Mm-hmm. And
is that right? Is that close?
Sure, that's good. And the mafia guy, if you live in the Pacific Northwest, it's kind of confusing at first because his name is Red Myers, and we have a chain of grocery stores here called Fred Meyer. And the first time I watched it, I was like, did they say Fred? Very close. And the whole thing is that Freebie and the Bean and Alan Arkin, he's supposed to be Hispanic, and his name is the Bean. It's horrible. It's indefensible as a character nickname. He and Caan have like the Charles Grodin, Robert De Niro kind of banter in Midnight. Is it Midnight? What's it? Midnight Run?
Yeah.
Okay. And I personally think when they are just together and bickering, Rush saw them as a married couple, and you're never sure which one's the husband and the wife. And that's how he went into it with their characters. They have really good chemistry together.
I was also very much reminded of Jules and Vincent Vega from Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, 100%.
I was reminded of Jackie Chan
And Chris Tucker.
No.
Chris Tucker?
From Rush Hour. I just find two people who are doing a job together and have banter.
Mhm.
When did you? I did not realize that Arkin was supposed to be Latino until way into the film.
Yeah,
Well,
it takes a while to get to the...
Which actually probably speaks to why I wasn't like agog or I'm sorry, not agog, but like offended from the jump.
Yeah,
right.
Instead, and that like the slow realization on my part that he was supposed to be Latin American, because he doesn't have like he
doesn't play into it. He doesn't play into it.
He doesn't. Yeah, there's only difference between the two of them is that Freebie dresses well, like too well for a cop, and that's because he basically steals. He shakes down people for stuff.
Yeah, Freebie is the questionable morals cop, and Bean will sometimes tout rule of law, but he always goes his way with Freebie. Freebie is racist. He's sexist. He doesn't want to settle down. He's one of those bachelors. So his girlfriend says he can have a key. He doesn't want a key, but he will pick her lock when he goes to visit her, which is horrible. Horrible.
That's not a euphemism. Picking one's lock isn't.
No.
Like, he uses a pocket knife to break into her house.
Terrible. And James Caan made a movie with Sam Peckinpah called The Killer Elite, I think the year before this, which is also on one level, straight up action, and then on another level, straight up parody of action movies. So he was definitely in a counterculture kind of zone here, living at the Playboy Mansion at the time.
Is that right? Incredible flex.
Ryan, did you know before Mark Wahlberg was the gambler, James Caan was?
I did. I've never seen that one, but
it's good. It's good. It's really good.
It's good.
Yeah.
That's a towback, though, right?
Canceled.
Yeah,
with impunity.
Really canceled.
Right.
Just completely.
The actual question I want to ask you from that scene where Caan. So yeah, it is that total 70s thing. A little bit like how in The Longest Yard, maybe the Burt Reynolds character, doesn't he like hit his girlfriend or something, and he's like supposed to be kind of cool?
No, he eventually gets caught and thrown in jail. So,
but it does feel like the opening that like he's supposed to like we're supposed to envy the guy a little bit. Anyway, but for the Caan character, his girlfriend's like a professor maybe of English or getting her doctorate in English. And the only thing that redeeming about him is that he goes down on her. Which might be something special for the 1970s.
Yeah.
Cunnilingus. But what's great is there's the recapping of Lords of Arabia.
Yeah.
I was going to get, because it's one of your favorite films, right, Ryan?
Yeah. It was a good recap.
Okay.
It was pretty. It was pretty faithful to the film. Which is great because it's a complicated movie, and even a moron like Freebie can get it.
That's a good point. And then we have the Bean, who is married to Valerie Harper, also not a Latina. But I really like Valerie Harper. I didn't recognize her. She has one of those husky voices that I find irresistible.
She's a fox.
Yeah. And I guess the third time, because Andy watched it with me the third time. She's now seen it twice. We're both big fans. I don't care about our reactions yet. But this was a time where I'm like, well, is she or isn't she cheating on him? And Andy looked at me like I was an idiot and says, of course she's cheating on him.
Of course she is. What are you talking about?
He is such...
I don't know.
He is... I think when you watch it through that prism, because I watched the rest of the movie after she said that, and I said, well, of course she is. He is such a terrible detective that he cannot break his own wife. She has answers for everything. He has to call Freebie and get advice. He can't even solve not a crime, but his own wife. And it just makes him terrible.
Oh, see, I read that scene differently, but that's interesting.
Yeah.
That might be the intent. I thought it was that he knew the truth, but he decided that it was better to keep on keeping on than upset the apple cart.
Yeah, well, I think that's how it ends up. But
man, that's what he's been doing. I think instead he sees something in his wife from all that, where he's like, it doesn't really matter.
She wants to stay, or else she wouldn't be lying so hard.
Mhm.
I think that's the difference. Is he's like, and I think he knows he's a miserable piece of shit.
So like the first two
he's still pretty
times, I watched it, I thought their scene toward the end was the one scene that I didn't like because it kept going on and on.
Really?
But this third time after Andy said, well, of course she's fucking around on him. That scene is really funny. Watching it, knowing that. Yeah, it's
I don't
together.
know if it's funny, but I do think that it's a scene. And it's, I don't know, this film has interesting, this has like one of the biggest hill turns tonally that I've experienced since maybe Color of Night. I don't know.
Really?
Richard, you don't have that at the end with the stadium scene?
Yeah. I don't know if that's
crazy.
I think it's all of a piece. But
yeah, no,
it feels like the whole movie. There's a layer, which reading it later would make sense. But there's like, like the old medical books with the static cling that you just put like another layer on top of it. Like it starts off maybe like a skeleton, and then you get the I don't know, organs and then muscles, and just keep adding layers. It feels like they forgot to put the comedy layer on the last 20 minutes of the film until you get to like the scene right before the credits.
I think it's
that
funny.
dude's doing karate kicks. I thought that was
he
actually
actually
supposed to be funny.
He actually because he's kicking the shit out of James Caan. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Is it?
That's one of the.
I'm sorry.
That's.
I'm sorry there wasn't a whale ejaculating on James Caan, Thomas. Maybe that would have helped a little bit for you to know that it was comedy.
Hey, if we could get Brendan Fraser and AI him into this film.
Incredible.
Wouldn't that be crazy if that was how Brendan Fraser's boyfriend from or husband from The Whale died? It was all one universe.
Oh, good Lord.
Oh, my goodness.
So I think that when I was definitely locked into this movie and I knew I was seeing something that I personally feel is special within this well-trod police genre of propaganda that Hollywood's been pushing on us for 100+ years, is the first chase scene, and they turn and there's a parade and there's marching kids marching in this parade, musicians, and a level of mayhem through that parade and people getting hit just seemed like it made me realize that this was something I hadn't seen before, because they are causing more harm than protecting and serving. I think Rush was onto something. And then that chase scene ends with them crashing off the Embarcadero Freeway, RIP, into someone's apartment, like the fucking Looney Tunes. But technically, in special effects wise, this movie is as good as Bullitt in its chase scenes. And we'll talk about the major chase scene later in the movie in a little bit.
Yeah, so that was a moment that really got close to being funny, where Freebie, I think, says like, "Can I use your phone?"
Yeah.
Or no, is it Bean? One of them says like, "Hey, can I use your phone?" To the elderly couple eating in bed. Gross. Potentially, I guess, listening to the radio after they crash through their apartment, and then he says, "What does he say? Like, oh, we've got a little accident. Could you send a tow truck, please, to 618 Elm Street?" And he like steps out
and looks at the door.
Looks at the door, and then it's third floor apartment 304. That's close to being funny. Yeah. But I do love, I don't think this is the first time I've seen it, because I was like, oh man, I love it when I see this in a movie.
Mm-hmm.
But a marching band powering down. Because the car goes in and then they're like, some of the instruments start to fall out, and then more fall out, and then more fall out.
Yeah,
I just love that effect in a film.
Mm-hmm. Freebie and the Bean, the car chases are filmed as much as possible in the car or on the hood, or obviously with stuntmen in certain circumstances, including Evel Knievel in the third major car chase. One of the funniest things I've ever seen, as the stuntman playing James Caan on a motorcycle.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense, because I was wondering, I was like, this is a great stunt, and they're really showing the guy's face here.
Yeah.
They're not afraid of doing that.
Yeah, and that carries through with the film The Stuntman, where it's like they're not even hiding Steve Railsback as the stuntman in these sequences, which also has a number of set pieces that seem to go on forever, much like the chase scenes in this movie.
Okay, so did you know, Ryan, that this film was originally not a comedy? Like, the script wasn't a comedy?
No, I didn't.
Can you think like about the plot now and how it makes perfect sense that this was originally not a comedy? Like how this was just a 70s downer cop movie?
Yeah, I mean, and that's I can see that, and in hindsight that makes like the Lethal Weapon comparison even more potent, because Lethal Weapon is a dark movie. You know, it's got jokes in it, but the overall concept is pretty gothic.
Yeah. Freebie or Bean do not get tortured by Gary Busey in this movie.
Right. And
no.
Freebie is not quite as psychotic as Mel Gibson.
This movie was made shortly after the Transamerica building was finished, and it's almost like a gravitational pull in the film, how almost every setup in the city, at some point, the Transamerica building is there. Rush frames it like some directors would frame the Golden Gate Bridge. So the advertising for this movie won multiple awards.
Wait.
Oh yeah.
Let's keep talking about the like what happens in the film a little bit, because I don't think we haven't touched on the main villain yet. We haven't touched on the cop. We haven't Fred Meyer before he dropped the F, or after he dropped the F.
Well, he is the MacGuffin in the movie, but the main villain turns out to be their boss, the lieutenant, who shaves and clips his mustache at work. What the fuck's wrong with you, dude? We should have known right there that he was the bad guy.
Is he the DA?
No, the DA was Alex Rocco.
Okay.
Who was really funny in this.
Yeah, that is a reminder, that at the end it is the captain who is the villain. One of the wild things I thought about this movie was that after the first act, it kind of drops the plot altogether. Like there's no more exposition. They're just suddenly hunting all these bounty hunters. There's only supposed to be one bounty hunter.
Well, they kill that.
Now there's a bunch. Yeah.
And one of the most outrageous scenes I can imagine. I can't imagine like Danny Glover and Mel Gibson doing what they do in that bowling alley, which is they straight up murder a guy.
Yeah,
in the bathroom.
And it's done for comedic effect.
They're like sitting out the bathroom in the. Also, it's funny. James Caan's telling him he's got to pee. He's gonna have to pee. He's drank 3 beers. Those girls are bubble gummers. They're not drinking them.
Yeah.
And then like right after that,
which is like like for like a 15-minute segment of the film, James Caan has kind of I don't know, Sherlock Holmes eye to him, where he's able to determine things. Because he also does something similar to that whenever they're
in the dentist office.
Oh, okay. I guess right before the dentist office as well, there's a gal who's checking out Bean, and he tells her that says that she's a hooker.
Yeah, that's toward the end.
Okay.
And then Bean every time like, where do you get this stuff?
Yeah, exactly.
So the bowling alley, they're after the one guy, the first guy from Detroit, who they also accost a couple from Detroit, and the guy is just sleeping with his boss's wife, and they, after beating him, actually not beating up, they get beat up, and the lady is like holding onto a pole and has her legs wrapped around Bean, and he's completely helpless to her because they're terrible.
Wow. Ryan's an easy laugh.
Oh, this movie. Well, we'll talk about it when we get to reaction.
So they
Okay.
go to the bowling alley, and that's where Caan is wearing his instantly iconic Viva Monteso orange shirt. It's a great fit. And then they go to the bathroom, and he goes, and they spends minutes of like checking their guns, putting them, making sure they fit right under their shirts and they look okay. They're putting in earplugs.
2 guns apiece.
They're putting in earplugs. These guys come out of the restroom saying, "Oh, it's okay. She's on the pill." And while they're doing all this, 2 ladies come out of the restroom, and the lady mentions to the other, "It's like, I'm not even on the pill." It's just a bit of business, but it's extremely funny. They go in and make the guys that are pissing at the urinals go, and then they just take out their guns and tell the guy to drop it, and they just shoot both their guns, unload them into the bathroom door, and kill the guy in cold blood.
I was really hoping it was going to be another mistaken identity thing.
I thought it was at first too, but in retrospect, it's like that could not have been in the serious part of the script. In the serious part of the script, it had to be a chase, and they had to be provoked before they shot him.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
You think so?
Oh, 100%.
I think the serious version of this film, they're crooked cops. Freebie's still shaking people down. Cops are jackasses, and they go and they straight up murder somebody in a stall.
Oh, I think it's more like they get in trouble for crashing cars and for killing people unnecessarily, but they're always. It's like
the ends justify
more
the
like
means.
Yeah, it's more like Dirty Harry, where the audience is by their side, every step of the way.
Yeah. So that's a pretty wild thing to have in a movie. And then the scene where they just like the classic Dirty Harry thing where they're just driving by and there's something going on. It's the Super Bowl. In fact, the banner on that hotel where they catch the cowboy, Andy and I are going to try and replicate that next year for the Super Bowl and have the worst. It's just like somebody slapped on paint that said Super Bowl on a sheet for like branding.
Well, it does feel like this movie was somebody slapped some paint on. Never mind.
So wait, I'm going to finish
reactions
the
yet.
cowboy.
I want to say something about the marketing.
Yeah, well, I want to talk about the cowboy scene first because
why did that cowboy scene happen?
Because in every cop movie there has to be it's like in Dirty Harry and Lethal Weapon, it's the guy that's going to jump. It's kind of a piece of these movies where it's like, oh, we're just driving around and we got to solve something that the regular people can't. So in this scene, it's a cowboy who's drunk and raucous because it's the Super Bowl, playing in San Francisco, and James Caan can't get a hold of the guy because he's too big. So Bean puts up a lounge chair and anyway, they have him in the back and the cowboy is just talking shit about them. And finally Bean has had enough and he's like, okay, we'll duke it out 1-on-1. But Bean has his hit and stick because he's a cop and there's no fair fight. He just takes it out and hits the guy and it's over. And that's another thing that would not happen, I don't necessarily think, in a Lethal Weapon.
Now, at some point, one of them does a really bad Texas accent for some reason, right? That's unrelated to this guy?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so they go into that parole room and a lady's crying and they tell him to shut up. They got to get on the phone. They're so terrible to every single person in this movie. And the more I watch it, the funnier it gets because it may be the best ACAB movie I have ever seen.
But yeah, I guess the hard part for me is knowing where the audience is supposed to be in the 70s because
I think it's made for the counterculture, like the same people that Steve McQueen was concerned about when making a movie about a cop. I think this is the movie that's made for those same people.
Well, and if I might take us on a little detour here, I read a lot of the rock critic Lester Bangs, famous from the Almost Famous movie, but kind of one of the early champions of punk rock in the 70s. Mm-hmm. And when he started writing, he used racist terms, the N-word, a lot of misogyny, ironically, and it was supposed to be very funny. And then over the course of his career, when Nazi punks emerged, he was like, oh my God, like, we've all been making a terrible mistake.
Mm-hmm.
you can't do this stuff ironically because you'll attract the wrong kind, and you'll attract and encourage the wrong kind of people. But you can look at the late hippie movement and the countercultural movement through the 70s and see this ironic sense of racism and sexism that
well, I don't know if it's ironic.
Was common.
I mean, on the sexism part, because I do think that it was very misogynistic until the late 70s. Like, I think a lot of the counterculture stuff was really just dude focused.
Well, I 100% agree.
And so then I don't know how to take a scene like whenever they very early on, there's the elevator, there's the crane operator, and then they later punch that guy through like a screen door or something, and his girlfriend, his old lady's in the other room, and she's just eating an apple naked. But James Caan goes in there, and maybe we're supposed to think that he's raping her or something to get the guy to talk.
Yeah, good cop, bad cop.
But the girl seems into being in bed with James Caan. That's what I didn't think it was a.
But yeah, but the only reason
situation.
that it seems like she probably is because that's what the director wanted, and that's what the audience wanted of a certain, like some of the audience wanted. Like, I think the only time a woman actually has any type of agency in this film is the Bean's wife, and that's why that scene plays out so well, is because you actually have another like human being maybe in the moment.
Well, yeah, and she's still a stereotype of a woman,
and the guy is kind of an albino, maybe, that they call Whitey, and the first time they meet him is when they go up into that building under construction in that vertiginous location at the very top. James Caan is actually afraid of heights, and the elevator going down actually malfunctioned on the shoot, and they had to get off of it and take the stairs down like 65 flights in this half-finished building. And that was one of the many reasons that Arkin and Caan had such a miserable experience making this movie, is because they Rush focused too much on the technical aspects and the stunts, which when you see the movie, what you're going to remember is the chase scenes anyway. But anyway, the marketing, do you know who won the 1975 Don Belding Award for first prize for Best Outdoor Painted Billboard?
No.
This movie had a billboard, and they had an actual front of a car that looked like it had smashed through it. And then they electrically had the wheels continually moving on the billboard for Freebie and the Bean. This is my favorite one, though. This is so hyper specific that Westwood Chamber of Commerce partnered with Warner Brothers to have a freebie meter maid campaign where meter maids would add coins to expired minutes during busy shopping hours and left Freebie and the Bean promotional flyers on their car explaining what they did, which is the weirdest promotional thing I think I've encountered. Because how many people are you going to get to see a movie by doing that?
I mean, James Caan's about to be one of the biggest stars in the world, so might have had some appeal.
Oh, yeah. Was about to, or already was?
Maybe he already was. I'm unclear on when he became a huge deal. I know by Rollerball he
it was
Tom Cruise levels,
Yeah, it was Godfather, and then like The Killer Elite, this movie, and then Rollerball, which is also an anti-authoritarian, very counterculture, less of a comedy.
The original, not the remake.
Not the remake.
Right?
Yeah, the stuff about the world being run by 4 corporations. How did they know back in the 70s? Feels still directed by your favorite, right, Thomas? Norman Jewison? Didn't he direct the original Rollerball? Yeah. Yeah. So James Caan had kind of a vibe. He appealed a lot to the counterculture sentiment by the roles and the movies he was picking after The Godfather. Yeah, you're right. He had an interesting run there in the 70s.
I think he also, I think this is discussed in Easy Riders, Raging Bulls, but, he's handsome, but very non-traditionally handsome. So he really works with the whole new Hollywood vibe as one of the big leading men.
Yeah, because he looks like a leading man in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But the roles he would pick and how he kind of undermined it with movies like this and the other ones I've talked about. It makes for a very, very potent movie experience.
And he's Jewish and obviously ethnic, but he's like a Jewish Steve McQueen almost. So,
or I was going to say Stacy Keach, but yeah.
So we're well past reactions. Clearly, I love this movie.
Are we?
And Ryan, I already know what Thomas thinks. I actually don't care. But I want to know what you thought. I do care, Thomas. I'm just joking.
We haven't even talked about the homosexual yet.
I think we're going to get to that.
I think that comes after reactions. Yeah.
I think Ryan will get into that.
Yes. So this is like 75% one of my favorite movies I've ever seen. And 25% just like really cringy and awful. The racism against the bean is hard to take. And then like halfway through the movie, I looked on Wikipedia because like there are Latin Jews, so I thought maybe Arkin's a Latin Jew. No, Arkin's like, European Jew. And so the combination of the racist dialogue plus that casting was pretty off-putting because of the way it's peppered throughout the movie. Mm-hmm. Like once the racism gets introduced, it's like every couple minutes there's another joke. The other thing is, the assassin villain that they have to fight at the end, whose title in the credits is simply transvestite. This movie is actually shown, just the end scene, just the climax is shown in film classes as an example of like institutionalized homophobia and anti-transsexual rhetoric in Hollywood.
I think that's a little unfair because it's out of the context of the movie.
And yes,
I'm just thinking about something. Was Ace Ventura: Pet Detective originally not written as a comedy?
I mean, I don't know how to...
Because I think even more so than the buddy cop genre, it's that film that this film inspired.
It's got long legs, this movie, Long Shadow.
I'm sorry, Ryan. I haven't gotten my reaction yet. I'm waiting for you to finish yours.
Yeah. I love the Arkin Caan relationship. I think the action scenes are incredibly well done. I think it's hilarious. And just every couple of minutes, there's a joke that makes me want to turn it off.
Mm-hmm.
And while I do think there is some redemption to the queer assassin knowing karate well enough to kick James Caan's ass, his portrayal is still just very
problematic.
Off-putting. And that's the thing is like, for me, with this type of stuff, with Woody Allen, with other things, cancelable films and creators, it's not so much that I'm politically offended. It's just the reminder is off-putting.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure if I put on a Woody Allen, there would be some great laughs in there, but the whole time I would be thinking about Woody Allen, and that's why I wouldn't want to do that, And then it's also, I mentioned, I'll say finally, I mentioned the Tarantino piece at the beginning. I think in many ways this seems very influential on Tarantino, and it gave some context to his early reliance on racist humor in his films, which Reservoir Dogs will always have a place very close to my heart, but I haven't watched it in 20 years, and it's because I don't know if it's worth sitting through all the N words.
Well said, Ryan. Yeah, I kind of mostly agree with everything you said. I do think that the final chase scene, which starts with cars, ends with a van, and ends with Caan on a motorcycle through an art museum opening, is one of the best chase scenes for comedic purposes I've ever seen, maybe until the Blues Brothers, which was inspired by the vehicular destruction here. But it keeps going and going, and then it switches to a foot chase with Alan Arkin and the other guy in the van. And that's another one that is so ridiculously destructive as they go through the inside of a restaurant to the seating area to the kitchen. And there is so much ridiculous level of people and items being thrown and crashed into everywhere. And then it ends with Arkin basically saying, "Oh, fuck it," and shooting the guy.
Yeah.
It's a completely blackly comic, satirical Looney Tunes scene, and it's so well directed and conceived and edited. It's just like catnip for me, that entire sequence. I've laughed so hard all 3 times.
Yeah, I was surprised to hear that the actors thought Rush was paying too much attention to the scripts, because one of the things that I liked about it was I thought the action was well done, but it seemed like they spent the same amount of effort developing the characters. Like, it seemed a very balanced
On set, it was probably leaned heavily towards getting all those fucking chase scenes and all those different streets.
I mean, they do have giant dominoes that clap because it's part of an art installation.
So stupid. Yes. Oh, I love it so much.
And for the clarification for the viewer who's hopefully never seen this film and can die peacefully, never having done so, the final chase scene isn't the final chase scene of the movie. No, this is just a series of chase scenes that happen throughout the movie. This is the last one that involves vehicles.
They escalate in length and level of destruction. So the first one's relatively small compared to the last one, which actually begins in the dentist office, where Freebie actually ends up shooting the receptionist or the nurse in the ass because they're fucking incompetent. It's amazing. Yeah,
and then this is before the Bean confronts his wife for sleeping around potentially, and the end of the rest of the film where Red Meyer gets kidnapped
and dies off camera,
and taken to the Super Bowl,
and dies off camera, much like the witness that was coming in to
the airport.
Yeah, a ridiculous ending to a ridiculous movie. Thomas, I want to hear your reaction, but before, guess what famous director said this was his favorite movie of 1974? I'll give you 3 guesses.
Okay, so they had to be alive in 1974.
Correct.
I read this on the Blu-ray box at the video store, so I'm not going to answer.
Okay, that's why I said.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, if you say Norman Jewison, I'm going to be upset.
No.
Okay. So that's one guess.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think of who else. Is it? Can I get a small? Wait, do I know this director?
Yes, not personally.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Everyone knows this director.
Oh, okay. I was originally going to say maybe like Godard.
That's a good guess, but no.
Okay.
He was known for his.
Don't give him a clue.
No hints. Okay.
No clue. Woody Allen.
Also a good guess, but no, it's Stanley Kubrick.
No, but who really?
Stanley Kubrick.
I mean,
was he getting his wisdom teeth removed at the time and was under medication?
Dear listener, I want you to remember this conversation next week when we talk about Thomas's one by one.
Let's remember that Stanley Kubrick made Lolita, and thought it was earnest about in that effort. So, just saying his taste is questionable.
Stanley Kubrick also made one of the funniest movies ever made in Dr. Strangelove.
Yeah.
And Clockwork Orange has a similarly
funny vibe.
Yeah, it's a black comedy with like really uncomfortable and sometimes really disgusting things in it,
Okay. I think we have this tendency, and maybe we'll bring this up next week with the idea of the 90s and the aughts, to categorize things by decades. and that's ridiculous and unfair, right? Like the early 90s is really like the late 80s as far as fashion. And because I say that because we all know that like cocaine's been around for a long time. Sigmund Freud was a user. It was in Coca-Cola, and there had been a lot of cocaine use before the 1980s. And that's the only way that I can like think of how this movie was made.
Oh no, it's probably, speaking of Easy Riders, Raging Bulls, there's a great story about Dennis Hopper coming to Steven Spielberg's house in 1971 and pulling out a big plastic baggie of cocaine, and just, they didn't know how to do it, so they just put it on the end of his big knife, and everybody was snorting it, except for Spielberg and Lucas, who were teetotalers.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I thought I had the syringes out.
Margot Kidder was on cocaine throughout the 70s. Like, it was already...
And I don't think you could look at the technical aspect of this film and act like it's just some freewheeling, thrown together film. I mean, there's a lot of careful craft in the making of this film, whether you like it or not. This does not feel like a cocaine film. Maybe in conception, when they're writing down like, oh, then there's some giant dominoes.
Scene to scene, I feel like that's the case. Like I feel like they took the script and they're like, great, this is a great script. We're going to make it into a comedy. And then they took another bump. And then they started to work on that. Because this movie is like if Grand Theft Auto, which we covered this season, and the Hot Rock got drunk and had a baby and then kept drinking during the pregnancy. Because I was really surprised to hear Ryan being 75% on board for Cars Go Smash, the movie.
I don't understand. Do you not watch movies, and have you not seen shitty car chases? And can you not see the conceptual, technical editing prowess being flexed in this movie by these amazing chases? I think
my spouse loves a 70s car chase, plowing. Like, they even had the chickens. They crash and they have chickens.
Fuck
like,
yeah.
The more of those tropes you can put into a chase scene, the more excited she gets. I feel like it's lead paint stuff. I'm not really into it. But what's crazy about this film for me, which is interesting, because I don't think I really understood why you made me watch this, Ken, until I got to the stadium scene. And then I'm like, wow, this movie is breaking all my expectations. Because if I watched the first 10 minutes of this movie, I couldn't tell you how this movie was going to end.
Right.
Because it has the lead paint humor, it has the crashing cars, it has a sports stadium, which I guess you need in the 1970s if you have a film. It has crime as a downer ending, and it has casual racism as fun. And I'm like, this is like a really good time capsule for what I've been exposed to through this podcast of 1970s cinema.
Yeah, everything that they did in the entire movie was because their boss planted evidence in the garbage he knew they were going through, because he wanted Loretta Swift's husband to go away so he could get with her. So every single thing that happens in the movie, there is no big bad. In fact, the Fred Meyer dies off camera. Like we said, the witness that they're waiting for, and so they could put
like a heart attack, right?
The person they're waiting to come in to put Fred Meyer away doesn't matter anymore because he's dead. And James Caan at this point thinks Bean is dead, and James Caan's also had the shit kicked out of him by the aforementioned transvestite, who. Yeah, it depends. I am not the one that's being offended, so I'm going to go with it being wholly offensive. But I do like it when she is kicking James Caan's butt.
Well, and in it's a small defense, but it's also not, even despite the title in the script, it's just a gay guy who's dressing up as a woman. Like, the character's not a transvestite.
And when they first meet him and he's in the bathtub, he is like totally cool and gets the better of them in their little conversation.
because of their
And he looks like
uncomfortable. They're uncomfortable with a homosexual, and so that's how he's able to do it. But then I don't know how the audience is supposed to be reacting to that. Just like I don't know about a naked woman eating an apple. They're supposed to
Well,
react
the
to.
poster famously said, "In the end, it's a love story." So I think
Yes.
people going in had a vague idea based on the poster.
It's also interesting because the queer guy looks a lot like David Bowie, who was big and famous and queer at this time. So difficult to know that we're supposed to that maybe we're supposed to laugh at Freebie and the Bean like he is during that bathtub scene.
Yeah, yeah.
Where, like, these fucking morons. Look at this queer
'cause
guy.
I wasn't offended by the maybe because I'm watching the Jeffersons right now, and like slurs are done all the time. But so like Freebie's constant needling his partner about being presumably Mexican American is like that didn't really bother me all that much because there's not anything that Arkin's doing. He's not in brown face. He's not trying to. He's not doing Touch of Evil.
Right.
So none of that really bothered me. But just the idea of like your villain being a guy, a homosexual who's dressed up as a woman, and that being the fight and the humor of the fight is that this gay guy is able to beat up a straight dude.
No, they're
using
beating up
karate.
James Caan in the
It's
finale
still,
of
it
a
just
cop
doesn't
movie.
like. It's not funny to me in a way that I would hope that it would be in, or even for me, like the woman like and Scissor Lock and the Beans unable to on the street, unable to like fight her off. Like that stuff just isn't really that. Like something about the physicality of all that. This just isn't all that funny to me.
Sure.
I don't necessarily find it offensive. I just don't. I'm not the audience for that at the time, and so being both not like the audience of the time, nor like this like understanding what the movie's trying to get at, I'm just kind of left indifferent.
For me, one
the
of
scene
the
to pass.
right.
Can I just
From-
I might just like copy that and paste it into next week's episode, but
Fair,
my
me,
voice.
fair, yeah.
For me, one of the things that makes the treatment of the Bean more offensive is that at the end it's revealed after the Bean dies that Freebie knows Spanish and actually loved the Bean very much, and the racism was just his way of showing his affection. That was when it was like, this is really
Ridiculous.
yeah.
So awful.
But that was one of the scenes that I felt was being played for sincerity in the movie, and that was the insult added to the injury.
Yeah, so Caan's casual racism is paired with the Bean casually, constantly talking about how Caan is kind of a dirty cop.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a scene where Caan pulls his shirt apart because it's a cheap shirt, and then talks the tailor to get him a jacket, threatening to call the fire department on him.
Yep.
Yeah.
As a scene in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately the racism and the bigotry overall kind of plays into this because ultimately James Caan is the hero of the movie. He's the white, Freebie doesn't seem to be ethnically Jewish or culturally Jewish. So he's just kind of the waspy hero who does end up getting to save the day and is the hero and turns out to have feelings.
He doesn't save the day. None of that. None of that had to happen. He gets to kill somebody, but it's not the person behind everything. After he does that, it's like I killed the person that killed my partner.
Yeah,
and then it turns out.
Let's put a pin in that and just talk about the ending for a little bit. I wanted to make sure that we also because one of the things I gave us kudos for, aside from moving along fairly well, it just keeps moving to a new scene. Was it probably had the best. It now has the worst fight scene at a playground. And I thought that they could beat Daredevil for that. Because there's a whole scene in this movie that they're on stakeout, and the Caan character takes Alan Arkin's gun, and then like pretends like something's happening, and Alan Arkin goes for his gun, and he's not there, and then they have like a tussle that goes into different scenes. And then I guess, is that where Arkin finally confesses that his wife might be having an affair?
It's a great scene because it leads to Caan saying, let's go. And they said, we're supposed to be on stakeout. And he's like, he's got enough people protecting him. We don't need to do our job. And yeah, that leads to a lot of the stuff with the wife.
Seeing the car outside the hotel.
Yeah.
Just happenstance. Okay. So the thing that had me feel like a hill turn in this movie is they get to the stadium. The Bean is shot and dies, presumably. Everything in the film says that he is dead. And then Caan goes to get revenge.
Yeah.
And then he gets his revenge, kind of, only to have that rug pulled out underneath him, like Ken keeps saying, right? Like their boss actually planted the evidence from the beginning of the film.
Mm-hmm. And
so that all this would happen.
So, and by them visiting the guy dressed up as the woman at the end, they are the ones that put her plan into motion. So none of that would have happened were it not for the original sin of their boss planting the evidence. So everything that happens is because of the boss. And he's just like, I'm just a guy who's in love with hot lips. And that's it. There's no comeuppance to him. It's not like I'm going to arrest you or see that IA takes you down. It's nothing. It's just like, that's the world we live in.
And I guess that was too, I didn't pick up on that he was not, that there was no penalty for him, but that's good.
Yeah. And so at this point, like, oh shit, one of our two main characters is dead. All these murders have been for nothing. All this movie's been for like nothing. It's Chinatown, Jake, right?
Yeah.
And then the Bean comes back from the dead, like he's fucking Jesus or something. And then they have like this fracas in the streets that becomes the poster with them like grabbing each other's faces and getting upset. And that's how
the camera does the big pull out, does the pull out much like the Dirty Harry movies. And it ends with, they're right next to the Transamerica building again, which I think probably has more screen time than Loretta Swit, despite the fact that she is third build. I should just say the building, the Transamerica building, which is a great iconic building. But
I was surprised you like this so much, Ken, because people do bug their eyes out. Despite
because
that being a repeated refrain of our hot rock episode.
I was reading up on like greatest cop TV shows and whatnot last week, and it really got me thinking of this movie and how hard baked into my consciousness and knowledge of police has been informed by Hollywood representations of them. And it's not until like the last 5 or 6 years that I've really started to see maybe the film clear in my eyes, like the dude from Lord of the Rings about it. And this is the movie that really speaks to that at me at this place, because it totally gets it. Totally gets it's all a bunch of fucking bullshit. They're all fucking nuts. They're a bigger problem than the problems they solve. It's beautiful.
Thomas, are there 70s movies that the humor is to your taste?
That's a great question.
Life of Brian, which might be 1980.
How about Network?
Okay. But
Network's pretty
Shampoo?
Funny. Shampoo?
No, we've covered this.
Yeah.
I didn't find
I wasn't on the Shampoo
funny.
episode.
I love Harold and Maude, but I don't love it for being a comedy.
So like Monty Python those are bits, so it's just
it's a whole movie with scene with
but it's a series of
skits.
And
not Life of Brian.
There's a story,
a series of skits.
There's a story, but every scene is a skit. That's how they do those.
Yeah,
movies.
Holy Grail, their classic Freddy Got Fingered. All the Monty Pythons are just a series of skits with a very thin strand of a narrative.
So are you not
Ryan's
a fan
trying
of
to ask a serious
situation?
question, Ken.
So is it So are you not a fan of situational comedy? And I'm not talking about 80s sitcoms where there's a punchline in every, but just where the situation is what's funny. You know, in Freebie and Bean, it's the situation, and in the Hot Rock, it's the situations that's supposed to be funny. There are no real jokes necessarily.
Yeah.
Well, we know how I feel about the Hot Rock. I don't like. I would have to do some homework and get back to you unless you have other movies you could ask me about specifically. Because I can't. I'm not trying to think of like what 70s movies, or comedies
Annie Hall.
that fit that bill. Oh, Annie Hall's good.
Okay.
But I don't think Annie Hall is like a situational comedy. But sure,
it's similar. But Alan does get in the. He's great with one-liners.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of
like everything you want to know about sex, but we're afraid to ask. I would say it's not one of my favorite movies. I think it's a lot of dumb 70s humor, but it's more of like what you're describing Monty Python as a bunch of skits to my head versus what I would say like Life of Brian is.
Yeah, I mean, I can't think of many other examples, but I think Freebie and the Bean, the Hot Rock and Shampoo, that's a good summation of the humor.
To be a comedy.
So I think Thunderbolt and Lightfoot, which Thomas famously did not like at all, is also a very funny movie in a similar 70s vein as like the Hot Rock or Freebie and the Bean. So it might just be,
Yeah, Smoking the Bandit. I don't find to be funny.
Smoking the Bandit fucking sucks.
None of the
Smoking the Bandit 2 though, masterpiece.
Like none of the 3 8 movies by Clint Eastwood or Clint Eastwood stars in.
Yeah, those are free.
Yeah, those are more when you use the lead paint humor term. That's the Smokey and the Bandit in every which way but loose is the kind of stuff.
Agreed.
I think of.
I do not find Freebie and the Bean or the Hot Rock to be of a piece with those, but that's just me.
No, like
or Stanley Kubrick doesn't think so either. So
to continue on the canceled
Being
episode,
there, I think is funny.
That's 1980. Doesn't count. Sorry.
To bring up someone else who's canceled, my favorite style of stand-up is the Bill Cosby stand-up where he's just telling you a long story and there are no jokes. It's just like every once in a while
he's doing a bunch of really characters and voices and whatnot. Yeah,
and but it's like you're not waiting for the next joke. You're there to find out what happens after he gets his tonsils out, Like how's that all going to go? So, yeah, that's fascinating I always find your taste to be a mystery, and I feel like I understand one piece of it after this conversation.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So that's great.
We may learn more next week.
Quick question for you who lived in the 70s. Did they not have garbage bags? Or was that not a thing that was used very often? I seriously do not know. Like, I thought that they did but I didn't go back and watch Dog Day Afternoon again to make sure.
It depends. We would just go out and I think there were. I don't remember.
Because I didn't ask this question until I saw the dude take his little dog out to the park. Fred Meyer take his little dog out to the park.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, is he cleaning up after that dog or not?
Oh.
Because if they don't have garbage bags, what's he gonna use?
They definitely.
Oh yeah, no, they didn't clean up after dogs.
They did not have those little baggy things at the entrance of the park, telling you to be kind and pick up after your pet.
Also, that question reminded me that I believe in the first scene, they have just dumped a bunch of garbage into their trunk.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they're looking through. So like they're talking about how disgusting it is to go through the garbage, which reminded me a lot of like Jules having to pick little pieces of brains and shit out of the back seat after Vincent Vega blows Melvin's head off.
Whoops.
But like they're complaining about having to go through the garbage, but one of those two guys is going to have to shovel all that shit out at the end of the night.
They're just going to crash the car and break the state record anyway.
Good point.
But don't they have to like drive? Like, don't they dump in the back of the trunk and then just stand there and look in the back of the trunk?
It's so
gross. Isn't that
they
more
have,
conspicuous?
They have like a chopstick and they're
because in Sneakers they take the bags and they bring them into the Stands with the Fists house and then they jump it all out on her floor and dig through it.
Well, yeah, you usually have.
Which is funny because she's a neat freak.
You lay down some plastic first, and then you dump the trash on it. That's what you're supposed to do.
It is pretty fun that they have a cat inside their trunk, and no, it's.
Anyway, I'm glad you guys got to watch this. It's like this is one of those movies that I'm glad I discovered late in life, because I don't know. I talked to my friend of the podcast, Eric, who said that he and his dad used to watch this movie a lot. And he watched it a lot as a kid. And it really taps into, I think the anarchic, destructive part of this movie really taps into a lifelong juvenile sense of humor, which we may also touch upon next week.
I don't know. The European docudrama.
Freddie Got Fingered. Yes.
I cannot believe that this was the same director. I could once there was that hill turn at the end of The Color of Night.
Color of Night has such a fucking great car chase in it, though. That it
is a wild film. Like that, it's mind melting.
So
how that film was ever made.
I ran The Color of Night when I worked in a movie theater, and I remember being excited about it because I like the Stunt Man. And then when I saw it, I thought it was one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I watched Freebie and the Bean, I said, maybe I need to revisit it. And I think through the prism of we're just having a laugh at the material. It's played awfully straight in Color of Night, but it is actually a really funny movie if seen through the Freebie and the Bean glasses that I was wearing. And I quite enjoyed it.
Yeah, I thought Color of Night was funny, and the transvestite quote unquote reveal at the end of that movie played a lot better to me because he's making fun of like the De Palma Hitchcock trashy shit.
Plus, it's so obvious throughout the movie that these people have to be stupid.
Yeah.
And I think watching it the first time, Color of Night, I thought that they were supposed to be smart, and how can they not see it? But it being so obvious, watching it now, 30 years later, it's a really funny movie.
So I could have sworn that my spouse and I watched it. It was Ryan, wrong person.
Yeah,
close enough.
Your other spouse.
Often confused. But I was showing her the preview.
Secret wife.
I was showing her the preview, and she's like, I don't think I've seen this. But as I'm watching, I'm like, holy fuck, it's so fucking obvious that the young man is the young woman.
Yes.
In the preview.
Yes.
Like it's almost like they match cut at times.
Mm-hmm. They're daring you.
It's a terrible film.
They're daring you. It is hilarious. Bruce Willis had Richard Rush insisted on a dick double for Bruce Willis in the swimming pool scene, which Bruce Willis strenuously denied, but it's totally true.
Was it the same?
Willis wasn't bringing it.
Where they had to get somebody smaller in.
It was just so big. It was dragging on the bottom of the pool like a giant elephant or horse, which we may talk about next week.
I guess that's enough of a tease.
Yeah. So,
little dick tease for you at the end.
Yeah.
Thank you for the theme song, Ryan.
Yeah. Woo. Ryan, thank you and Stanley Kubrick for agreeing on me, this being a mostly great movie. And
well, yeah, and one of the things about being a Tarantino fan is that he talks so much about his influences, and so you get to watch all those movies and discover them. Really surprised that he doesn't. He has talked about Freebie and the Bean, but this is just like
it may be
the whole.
It may be
where it all comes
it may
from.
Be too close to his being, maybe.
That honestly could be it, because he didn't start. He started presenting screenings of it in, I think, 2024.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe he's now finally comfortable enough with his spiel, with his shtick, that he could be like, "This is where I got it, guys. Go check out Freebie and the Bean."
Yep, that's his rosebud.
Yes, very much so.
Thomas, thank you for the show notes, and thank you for presenting us with your personal rosebud, Freddie Got Fingered, which we're going to be discussing next week.
Oh, I thought you were going to thank me for sitting through almost 2 fucking hours of this shit. But okay. Yeah.
Well,
hey, Ken, thank you for trying to make us sound somewhat coherent through the editing.
It's going to be tough this week, dude.
I just had that one really bad botched tangent.
Well, heck,
the rest seemed kind of coherent.
You know, so this has a great visual metaphor for what it's like editing this podcast, Freebie and the Bean, and we just talked about it. It's when they put all the trash in the trunk, and then they're sifting through it. No, thank you guys. Looking forward to next week.
Whew, how can you be a mouthpiece and an asshole at the same time? I'm just reading quotes from movies.
That's a great fucking joke.
Temporal temporal space. Time. Running a temporal temporal space. Time. Running a temporal temporal space. Time. Running a temporal space. Time. Sniffle messing up.
Okay, we're way off course here. I just like saying Laszlo. I'm sorry there wasn't a whale ejaculating on James Caan, Thomas, for you to know that it was comedy.
No, but who really?